Hi there, and welcome to Graeme's Guide, Friday Live, this Friday, the 5th of August. Let's get straight into it. So today I'm looking at assignment 2 and looking at the marking criteria, suggested structure, and supporting evidence. So in the discussions, let's go straight to the discussion boards because this is where I've just posted some information for you. In the general Q&A, I just made a post about citing and referencing. So let me just read this to you so that I'm not babbling. There's more than one way to cite and reference specific sources correctly, of which your marker is aware. I mention this because every teaching period, many students become anxious, fearful, and sometimes fixated on perfecting the formatting of citations and references. In truth, it is critically important to cite and reference your sources. However, perfecting the formatting of the citations and the reference list should be measured. And by this I mean there's no need to be obsessing about every comma and every bracket. That doesn't mean that it's not important, but your time may be better spent on getting more marks for your content than one extra mark for the referencing. The measure that I use is the marks awarded for each criterion. So for assignment 2, I would spend 80% of my time on the content, which usually includes citing highly relevant literature to support my writing, then spend 15% of my time on proofreading and structure, and finally 5% of my time on checking that I've included in-text citations with matching references in the reference list. My feeling is that it's better to focus on the greater context of the assessments. As mentioned above, in assignment 2, 80% of the grade is awarded for content, 15% of the grade for academic writing, and 5% for sources and references. Let's have a closer look at that 5% for sources and references. Of the 5% for references, a mark of 0 to 2 out of 5 would be not passing that criterion. If you receive a mark of 2.5 out of 5, that's a pass. For a credit, you'll need 3 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5 will get you a distinction, and 4 out of 5 and above will result in a high distinction for that marking criteria. So the difference between a credit and a high distinction is 1 mark for this criterion, which is 1 mark out of 100 of the overall grade. So you can see why the importance is better placed on the 80%, because it's much easier to get more marks in that 80% of content than spending hours trying to get 1 extra mark or 2 extra marks for that 5% on referencing. Now, that's not to say that the formatting of your citations and references is not important. I'm just saying that you need to take a measured approach for, in a strategic approach for getting the most marks for each assessment. And in this particular case, you're getting 80% of your marks for the content. So that's where I'd be placing my focus. Alrighty, let's go back to the discussions, and I want to take you to the assignment 2 discussion to have a look at suggested structure. So assignment 2, and look, just before we go on, Tanya has made these videos which look at each of those specific criteria. So criteria 6 here is looking at citing and referencing, and these others are each looking at those specific criteria for assignment 2. So I highly recommend, in fact, these really should be mandatory viewing, these videos here by Tanya at the top of the page in the assignment 2 Q&A. All right, but let me go down to where I've provided you with a suggested template. People have been asking me how to structure assignment 2. So down here, where is it? The template. Okay, so if you click on this link here, this will open up, but you can download it. So at the top, in the header, you would put your student ID and your name, the name of the unit, and the title of the assignment, which in this case is assignment 2, and the due date. I recommend identifying which case study you're doing. So at the top here, you could put communication case study, and that you're looking at James the psychologist, or whoever it is that you're looking at. And then for when you answer the first of those marking criteria, that's for section 1, I would you don't need to put a heading necessarily. You could just put this as your heading. You could just put section 1, and that's all you would need. And then when you're answering the next part of the question, then I've shown you down here, you could put section 2, and there's a possible heading you could put for section 2. And the same for section 3. Now, this text you're looking at here is called lorem ipsum text. It is just filler text. It's not supposed to have any meaning, and it's not supposed to make sense. This is just a placeholder text. And then if I move down to the last prompt here for section 4, this is a possible heading for section 4. And, I've got no problem with you at all just copying, pasting these headings into your own, if you use this template, you can just use this template. But you will need to obviously complete the content for each question. Then at the end of your document, you would start a new page for your reference list. The title of that page is References, and I've put one reference here to get you going. And then all of your references would appear on this page in alphabetical order. So that's the suggested structure that I recommend for assignment 2. And I will provide a suggested structure for assignment 3 as well. Look, I'm going to let you look through the rest of this here yourself. You can follow these links here to look at the other information I've provided. I have provided some suggestions on supporting evidence, which is the last thing on my agenda. So I've suggested some sources here. For example, for section 1, I've suggested that you use a code of ethics as a supporting source. Everyone really should be using a code of conduct or a code of ethics. So while I say it's a suggestion, it's actually a requirement for this assignment. And then there's some other suggested sources that I've provided here as well. There's a video that I recorded last teaching period that was that is still relevant. And so that's why I don't want to go on today longer than 10 minutes, because there's a couple of videos here that I think you should watch as well. So this video here on assignment 2, I've also provided a short, not a short, it actually goes for 10 minutes, on how to do a citation when there is no author. For example, the code of ethics that you're going to cite may not have an author. So this shows you how to do a citation and a reference when there's no author to be found. Okay, well, that's definitely enough for me. I'm very happy because I'm coming well under the 10-minute mark. We're coming up to 9 minutes. Look, if you've got any questions at all, make sure you ask them in the discussion boards. That's the best place to get my response, and the fastest. I usually will respond there in the morning the morning after the night before, and then I check my emails usually late in the day. Thanks for watching Friday Live today. My tongue's getting in a twist now, so I'm going to leave it there. I'll catch up with you in the discussion boards. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.